Hello and welcome to the Berkshire Football Stories chat podcast with me, Rob Davies, Abby Ticehurst.
Hello.
And Tom Canning.
Hello.
We're going to be talking about all the football or what little there was this week after all the cancellations that have happened in the Berkshire area and all the other stories beside. And with that in mind, Tom, you want to say something before we kick off here?
Yeah, just really quickly. We said last week we weren't going to talk about the Emma McCandy story because we should do a separate podcast on it because it was a serious thing. And then we didn't do a separate podcast on it, partly because we were going to do it on Friday and Abby really lost her voice. And between Rob and I, we kind of just felt that the last thing anyone needed was two guys talking about pregnancy and its effects on women. It just read the room didn't seem like the right thing to do without Abby. So that story has since moved on anyway. Emma played for the team on Sunday, and I'm sure we will talk about that in due course. But I just wanted to kind of get our excuses in early and apologise to anyone that was looking forward to that. But me and Rob talking about it probably isn't the thing that anybody needs. So there we go.
There we go indeed. All right. Well, apart from deliberating over stories such as this, Tom, how has your week been?
It's been all right. Have I watched any football? No. But I've written a lot about football. So
there you go.
Go. Yes.
Exciting things to come up there. And Abby,
yes.
More importantly, how do you feel?
I am elated.
Elated?
No, that was me being smug for no reason. No, I'm actually feeling quite grim right now, so I apologise in advance. I sound like I've smoked 40 a day for 40 years. So yeah, we'll see. We're going to see how we get through this. I'm okay. But other than that, I'm all right, minus my odd voice.
Being out in the cold last night couldn't have helped anything.
Yeah. Don't worry though, I had my Arsene Wenger coat on. I've got the layers down to a T now. So I'm actually quite snug. Minus my hands, obviously, because they have to be out tweeting. Yeah. But yeah, I actually have got the warmth on pitch side down to a T now.
Very good, very good. Well, more on that game in particular later. But before we do, we should recap the weekend's fixtures and in particular the FA Trophy results. Oh. You feeling all right there, Tom, yourself?
Sorry.
That was Tom, not Abby, for any listeners. So, illness hitting the pod, perhaps. But yes, we had three teams from Berkshire going in the FA Trophy, and all three of them got through. So we now have three Berkshire sides in the last 16, I think, for the first time ever. Is that right, Tom?
I think so. I still haven't managed to narrow this down, but it makes sense because previously you didn't have as many teams in the FA Trophy. So previously you would have had Maidenhead and Slough, maybe. But yeah, I think we're in unprecedented territory for sure.
Absolutely. Well, to recap, the three teams that went through were Maidenhead, who won 2-0 away at Dagenham and Redbridge. Hungerford, who beat Tamworth 2-1 at home, that was the Bull Pit. And Bracknell, who scored a 95th minute winner to dispatch National League South side, Bath City, 1-0. Another impressive performance from the Robins there. They go marching on.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen the goal? It's fantastic. What a way to win it, and it's just really like if you were going into this next round thinking that Altrincham have got it easy, and I know they played Maidenhead United last night, so but if anybody thinks that Altrincham are going to have it all their own way, I would not bet against Withers and McClurg. No way, Jose.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean. That's 4 games against National League or Steps 2 sides, we should say, for Bracknell so far this season, and 4 victories. And all of those National League North or South sides are in the top half of their division. So pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah.
Go on, Tom.
No, that's all. Just, impressive is the word.
I think that's probably a good boost for Hungerford Town, isn't it? Considering they're not having a great time in league action.
Yeah.
No.
But they've won their last 2 games now, which is handy. They seem to have brought in a few players as well. I'm not sure what the Bristol Rovers link is, but they've got a couple of Bristol Rovers youngsters in. Ryan Jones and Jed Ward in goal. Not Jedward, Jed Ward. I'm sure he's not sick and tired of that whatsoever. But yeah, I did message Danny on Danny Robinson on the weekend and just said it's great to see you guys winning. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they've got a couple of new players in, and like you say, a couple of wins on the bounce. So hopefully things are starting to look up. They're still at the bottom of the National League South, Hungerford, so a little way to go for them. But if they could get 1 or 2 more wins under their belt in the next couple of weeks, then I think they'd be well in this sort of the mix then, and it brings a couple of other teams into it. So one of which would probably be Slough, to be honest. But it would actually they'd then be in a real battle, which is a couple of weeks ago you might have said they were a bit detached. So good things for Hungerford, and of course Maidenhead as well, who managed to win 2-0 away at Dagenham and Redbridge. A handy result for Maidenhead as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I didn't see them getting a result there at all. I think they have a dreadful record against Dagenham. I think that Barnet and Dagenham are their 2 bogey teams. There may be Maidenhead fans who'd tell me that there are plenty of others as well, but those 2 are the teams that I see. They've got Dagenham again in a couple of weeks. That'll be the 4th time they've played them this season.
Yep. As you mentioned, Bracknell drawn at home to Altrincham Town, and Hungerford also at home to Farsley Celtic, and Maidenhead also with a home draw either against Harrow Borough or Halifax Town. That fixture is taking place tonight as we are recording, so we don't know yet who is to be facing Maidenhead at York Road. All the ties due to be played on Saturday, the 11th of February, and the winners go through to the quarter-final, obviously. So, exciting times for Berkshire, the FA Trophy there. We may have some representatives deep into the competition. Back, if you had to choose one side to go through out the 3 there, Abby, who would that be?
Well, considering their impressive run so far, I think I'm going to go for Bracknell. Why not?
Wow.
Make it fun. Do you know what? I like it when I say my answers and then you 2 both go, oh my God. It normally works. So
yeah.
No, I suppose I did say don't bet against them, so I shouldn't be surprised, should I?
I mean, yeah. They're the team playing aside from the from 2 levels above, sorry. So, on paper it looks like probably the toughest draw of the Berkshire sides, but like you say, they're flying at the moment, and so if Altrincham think they're coming for an easy game, I think they'll be sadly mistaken. So might be a bit of a tough place to go, especially in mid-February for a team from that far north. Are you going to back that, Tom? You're going to say Hungerford or Maidenhead, or?
I mean, I think the obvious one is that Maidenhead should go through. But again, Maidenhead in the cup is always a tricky one to predict. But I think I'd firmly put my cash, if I were a betting man, behind Maidenhead. I actually don't know. Harrow Borough are suddenly they're suddenly Premier South, aren't they?
Yeah, same as Bracknell, same division as Bracknell.
I can't say I know what level FC Halifax are.
Oh, they're National League side.
Oh, are they? Okay. Oh, maybe I changed my mind then.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
That's a cop out, Tom. You have to choose someone.
It's tricky.
Massively. Okay, I'll go. I'm going to go Hungerford. I think they'll go all the way.
Brilliant.
Would you, if you were a Hungerford fan, or if you were involved in Hungerford, I presume you would get to the FA Trophy final day out at Wembley. You'd take that and a relegation.
Well,
if you got relegated, but you got to the trophy final, you'd be all right with that, wouldn't you?
Or you stayed up and didn't get knocked out in this round, or whatever.
Got knocked out in the next round. Yeah, I mean, like staying up, I guess is, but like that day out at Wembley, like we all know that day out at Wembley is a bit special. Albeit it wasn't the team, it wasn't our team, but we've done it with a local club.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd take that. Finishing in the lower reaches of the National League South every season versus a big day at Wembley that you'll never forget. Chance of winning.
I think especially because you can't guarantee that'll ever be a thing again as well.
Yeah.
Like that must be most people's people who grew up playing football. That must be like the dream, isn't it, to play at Wembley? Mm-hmm. If you're English, obviously. I can't imagine Messi was in his little Argentinian village thinking, God, I can't wait to get to Wembley. But yeah, no, I agree.
Absolutely. And just looking at the trophy this year, it's quite open. Lots of the bigger sides, or, inverted commas, bigger sides have been knocked out. Notts County, Wrexham, Chesterfield have all gone. I think I'm right in saying Southend, who are 6th in the National League, are the highest ranked side still in it. Altrincham in 10th. It's one of the tougher draws Bracknell could have got, like I say. But there's only a couple of top half National League sides left in it. So, wherever you are in that draw, you could be, get through this round into the quarterfinals, and you're thinking, why not? A day out of Wembley isn't that far away.
Yeah, I think I'd a day out at Wembley with a chance of winning a trophy. That's fine.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
If you thinking back to when Birmingham City got relegated, but they won the League Cup. Like, if you're a Birmingham City fan, you've forgotten that you got relegated, but you'll always remember that you won the League Cup, and I think that is the end of it.
There you go. Indeed. All right. Well, we'll move on to Reading women now. Last week, Abby was confidently telling everyone how Reading women were definitely going to be staying up this season. Is there any doubt in your mind after the weekend's fixtures where Reading lost 3-2 at home to Everton and bottom place Leicester managed to get a 3-0 win against Brighton, closing the gap to Reading there? How are you feeling at the moment, Abby? Slightly more concerned, or are you still confident on Super League status for next season?
I'm not sure confident is the word. we will be there, I think. I think Leicester and Brighton are just bolstering us right now. But as I said to you before we started recording, I think we will be the Leicester and the Brighton next season. We will be struggling with relegation battles and things like that. Well, I mean, we kind of are now, aren't we? So we definitely will be there. I'm really trying not to be so bleak about Reading, but it's they make it difficult. They do make it difficult. Although, from watching the highlights from the Everton game, I don't know. We just didn't make the most of the chances, I think, and I don't think it was necessarily clear cut that Everton would have won that. I think it probably could have gone either way. But yeah, they just managed to hold on to that lead, and I think it was 2-1, and then it was 3-1, and then it was 3-2. So yeah, just a bit of sort of back and forth. I don't know if either side especially stood out. Everton seemed to having a bit of a better season as well. So yeah, I don't know, but I don't think the rest of the season is going to be an easy journey. That's for sure. And that worries me for next season as well. And I think you said about what is it that we need, and I said we need Deanne Rose back because we need a striker. So I looked at goals, and that is such a big thing for us. So Trollsgaard is the one who has currently scored the most goals for us, and she scored 3. She is sitting a bit further forward. That's where she tends to sit within the national team. And so I think Chambers has actively decided to push her a bit further forward. So she's a bit more of an attacking midfielder this season, but still 3 compared to the rest of the WSL being our top goal scorer is nothing. I think we've got 12 goals in total. Some strikers have already scored that many goals. So
yeah. Well, that front line of Dowie, Harris, and Rose last season was actually quite terrifying. Even you could look at that on paper and go, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
and they've the fact that two of those players have been out injured for a lot of this season, and another seems to be out of favour. You can see where the problems lie.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
they are scoring goals. They are scoring goals, though.
Not enough, though, and I think that just makes such a difference.
Not enough. They're not scoring enough when they let in 3. So no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, most players have got a goal to their name. I think we've got maybe 6 or 7 goal scorers, and it's a goal each. And so like you say, Gary seems to be out of favour. She's got a goal to her name. Harry's hasn't scored any goals this season. So, yeah, it's like we talked about last week, not having Rose there has really been quite detrimental to us, I think.
Yeah, Reading have a bit of a tricky run coming up as well. They've got Man United at home this weekend. They're there away to Liverpool. And but after that, they face West Ham at home. West Ham having a very good season. And after that, it's away at Arsenal. I mean, out of those next 4 games, how many points do you see Reading picking up, Abby?
Loaded.
I'll be honest, I don't think we're going to get anything from United. United have already beaten us 4-0 this season, and there's been a little bit of movement in terms of the transfer window this month, but actually they're still stacked in terms of it. We haven't beaten them since I think 2021, and our team is incredibly different to then. So I think arguably weaker than it was when we played them and beat them. We had the likes of James and Fishlock in there. I think who are a bit more clinical with taking chance, or just were a bit more willing to take chances. So I don't think we'll get any points there. Liverpool is potentially a chance to take some points, but I don't know if that's necessarily a win. West, I think I've been saying it every year we've done this now. How many are we? 3 seasons in or whatever. West Ham are just our bogey team. I don't know what it is. Whenever we play them, it's just always the most bizarre game. Sometimes we seem to be able to beat them, and other times they just absolutely hammer us. So I don't really know. Arsenal again. They're in a title race, aren't they? So we could shock, but who knows? So I'm not optimistic. I'll be honest. Maybe two points from 4 games potentially, possibly. But now maybe they'll go and surprise me, and we'll end up with 7 or something odd like that. So who knows? Yeah, realistically, I don't think there's too many points coming our way. I think the rest of the season is tricky because the games after that as well, I think it's Brighton followed by Leicester as well. So they're going to be must wins for us. So
if Reading win both of those games against Leicester and Brighton, then that's job done, really.
Yeah. Yeah. But just staying in 10th spot, isn't it? Just winning those 2 games, job done.
Yeah, yeah.
It's incredibly underwhelming, isn't it?
I'm not saying it's good.
Yeah. Of course. I've looked at some stats as well this week and things like that, and in terms of accurate passes, we're 11th of 12. So that's not great, and we're 11th in big chances as well, which obviously sounds odd, but that just means we're just not creating them in the first place. I just think we don't seem to be. We're a team with spirit, but we're not dogged enough. I don't think. There's too much happens, sort of it's very nice passing within the midfield, and then just it goes forward, and then there's nothing beyond that. We're not taking those big chances often enough. And then equally, we're on 16 yellow cards this season as well, which I think is second. So we're timing tackles all at the wrong point and things like that. So we're dogged in the wrong areas.
I was going to say, would lots of yellow cards mean that you are quite dogged?
But no, I don't think it does.
No.
Not in the, well, maybe it does, but not in the right sense.
No,
we're dogging in the wrong areas, aren't we? We're timing tackles in the wrong places, and probably tackles that actually could be where we move the ball forward better. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a manager, am I? Who knows?
Don't say things like that. That's the end of this entire podcast. Well, don't listen to my opinions. I'm not a manager.
I think our credibility went long ago, so it's fine. Yeah.
But so I think it's going to be a tricky rest of the season for us. Absolutely. We're at the halfway point, aren't we? This
more or less.
Game, so just obviously there's things off the pitch as well that are happening as well that are probably impacting the team too. So I don't know. It's a bit bleak right now, to be honest, to be a Reading fan. I can't lie.
Oh dear. Well, not to be too dour on you, but there's another team you wanted to talk about in Berkshire on the women's side of the game that are also struggling a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, so Maidenhead as well. They're having a bit of a tricky time. I don't know if they've changed the restructure, but I was having a look at the table this week, and I think they are in the danger zone right now because I think they've changed it so that 2 teams go down, and they're only just kind of being kept up by who else is below them? No, I can't remember. I think it's St Austell who came up last season, or came up this season rather. They have got games in hand over them, which is obviously a bonus, but they are both sitting on 3 points right now. They've got 1 win, 7 losses. Also only doing worse because they've got 1 win and 10 losses. But they seem to be having a bit of I think they're having a very similar problem to Reading, actually. They're struggling to find any kind of prolific striker. I think their top goal scorer's got 3 goals. So, they're having a very similar problem to Reading, I think. Because if you look at those who are at the top of the table, Cardiff, Bournemouth, I don't think Swindon are, but I think they're in and around the goal scorers. They're in double figures already. And I don't think even Maidenhead have even got that at this point. So, but I will finish this point on a positive, though, is that they've given lots of debuts to people this season. So, and they also had Lydia Vitesse, who was their first to come through the academy. So she's come through the pathway. So I think maybe it's more about their introducing new people into the team and younger people into the team. So not that I obviously want them to be relegated, but potentially if relegation was to happen, it would mean that they could have a season where all these new debuts and these younger players get the right experience in the team. So I don't know. Ed and his coaching staff seem to be a bit more consistent in terms of their managerial style and things like that. So actually, maybe there's some sort of big grand plan. But yeah, right now, sort of objectively looking at the table, they're struggling. So I think they also are sort of midway through the season, potentially at the end of it. So no, they are. Yeah, sort of. I think they've played. They're only a third, really, realistically for it. So actually, they've got loads of time to sort themselves out, and I think they're out of most of the cups as well. So I think probably just trying to push on in this kind of 2/3 of the rest of the season will be on their list of things to do, really. So yeah, it's not all doom and gloom for Maidenhead.
No, I mean, they've got games in hand of the teams around them. Like you say, there's only St Austell below them in the table. So yes, they're in the relegation zone, but they're 3 points away from safety as it was at the moment, with Larkle Athletic ahead of them. But Maidenhead have 3 games in hand over Larkle, and so yeah, there's some, certainly they're not out of touch, and perhaps with these new debuts that have been given in the first half of the season, you'd hope that maybe they would start to sort of blossom a little bit, and they would start to find their feet in the second half of the season. So, perhaps something potentially to look forward to for Maidenhead. But a couple of perhaps slightly concerning league positions for our Berkshire women's sides there. Right. Anything else to say on those two before we move on?
No, that's my doom and gloom chat for today.
Well, doom and gloom chat for today. Well, we will shortly be talking about something a bit more upbeat in the Ascot and Reading City game. But before we do that, we're just going to have a little break. Join us afterwards.
During this little break, we should probably talk about the fact we have 2 new sponsors for our video watchers. The Curious Academy in Reading is sponsoring us. They are a digital sales academy, and they help young people get a bit of confidence. They also help older people get a bit of confidence. So, Rob, if you are at a loose end, if you're feeling a little low, you're not quite sure where to go with your career, you could pop down the Curious Academy and do a bit of digital training, which would be very good for you, I think.
Sounds great. Yeah. Help me work out how to use the how to do the recordings on the interviews.
That would be lovely. We are also sponsored by Ticket Pass. Everybody knows Ticket Pass these days around here. Everybody uses Ticket Pass around here to sell their online tickets. They are a really good company. They give some of their admin fee to charity, and you can choose who the charities are. So we have a lot to thank both the Curious Academy and Ticket Pass for. Both are great. They have allowed us the money that they've given us has allowed us to expand our recent fixtures and results system, which now puts fixtures on the team pages. So go and enjoy those. There you go. That's advertising.
That's advertising. Brilliant. Well, thank you for those messages. Hopefully you enjoyed them, and we'll hear more from our sponsors in the next episode. But back to the football, and one game that survived the weather and the cold last night was Ascot hosting Reading City in the
was it on?
Counties.
Was it on?
What do you mean, was it on?
Well, no, I saw a bunch of messages of people asking Abby if it was on.
Oh, I see. Yes.
I just wanted to check.
There's a very specific reference to a message that I sent to only Tom. No, I was just fed up of people messaging saying, "Is the game on?" No, I've just sent these tweets out for fun.
Yeah, well, Ascot's 3G pitch surviving the cold snap and allowing us to have some local football on Tuesday night, where they hosted Reading City in the Combined Counties Premier Division North. The clash between the top two sides. Ascot eventually running out 2-0 victors and extending their lead at the top of the table to, am I right in saying 5 points, Abby? I haven't got it in front of me. 7 points. Oh, looking ominous. How did the game go, Abby? You were there?
I was indeed. Well, Tom, you should have come to this one. It was much better football. I'm sure Jamie and Simon won't mind me saying that. It really was much better football. No, it was great. Yeah, it was a really good game. And it was, I mean, as expected, we went in 0-0 at half time. I think everyone was sort of a bit nervy that it might be the same as last time, where we had 87 minutes of 0-0, and then, well, Alfie Grant scored a great screamer, and then Reading City bit back and scored their own decent goal. So I think people might have been a bit nervy that that's what it was going to be. But no, I think we, I'll be honest, I think we did play the better football. So that's why we won 2-0. And I am immensely excited for when we get the VO footage back to see Usman Lalastani's goal, because it was outrageous. I don't know, it just seemed like it was in slow motion. And he was on the ball, like he was an absolute nightmare down the wing as he always is. But yeah, he just had a little bit of space, a little bit of time from about 25 yards out, and just absolutely like smacked it. And it was outrageous. Yeah, really was. So I'm looking forward to seeing the footage for that. But yeah, no, I think, but genuinely, it was a really fantastic advert for the Combined Counties as well. It was a really great game, and Reading City didn't lie down to us, even though we'd gone 1-0 up, and then he sealed the deal with us for 2-0. But yeah, right to the end, 90 minutes, it was very decent. The crowd was good. There was 415 people there last night. I think we probably would have drawn a decent crowd anyway, but I think it helped that obviously there's lots of games off, so people are sort of coming from far and wide to have a look. But yeah, it was a really great atmosphere. So, and a really good game from the officials as well, I think. Although I don't know if Simon and Jamie would agree with me. I think they genuinely did have a good game. So, yeah, it just, as I said, a really good advert for a top of the table clash. And yeah, I think, well, actually, I will have to say congratulations to Jamie as well for beating a club record. And I think as well, also, but congratulations to Simon as well, because I think he tweeted last night saying, if you'd have told me at the beginning of the season that we'd go 17 games unbeaten, I'd have laughed in your face. So, yeah, I think just two managers really having a very good time in terms of how their teams are performing, and the team spirit as well with both sides as well has been really decent. So, yeah, I can't I've run out of superlatives again of how to describe how great it was.
Absolutely. Ascot, I mean, for us to say, perhaps not you, Abby, looking in a strong position where we're reaching the halfway point for a promotion push. Like you say, 7 points clear. Reading have a game in hand over Ascot, but a lot of the other teams pushing them, Ascot have actually played fewer games than, Egham and Flackwell in third and fourth respectively. Ascot have played 2 fewer games than both of those sides. So it's looking pretty promising at the moment. And I mean, you've got to say that promotion is the ambition for Ascot. Whether that happens at the end of the season remains to be seen, obviously. But both Berkshire sides, Ascot and Reading, very good positions about the halfway point. I mean, the start of the season, we're expecting to be 7 points clear come halfway. Abby, would you say?
She's disappeared.
She's disappeared. Sorry, I was looking at a different screen.
I'll answer for her. I would imagine that at the start of the season, Ascot would have backed themselves to win the league title. Certainly, that would have been their aim.
Yeah.
I think that perhaps Reading City would have not necessarily thought they would be in second, but if they win those 3 games in hand over the 2 teams behind them, Egham and Flackwell, then I'd say they're nailed on for second, and you've got a Berkshire top 2 then.
Yeah, absolutely. So one going up automatically, and then a team who finishes in second plays an inter-step playoff with a team who finishes third or fourth bottom at step 4. I think those games, or I'm pretty sure those games are arranged geographically. So it's nothing to do with points per game or anything like that. It's trying to avoid teams having to travel long distances in those scenarios. But will be the step 4 side that hosts. So it wouldn't be at Scowers Lane. It'll be wherever the step 4 side is.
Rob, can I just take a second just to flag? I haven't noticed, but Virginia Water creeping up the table.
Yes, absolutely.
They've got 3 games in hand over Egham and Flackwell in third and fourth, and they've got games in hand over Burnham and Edgware and Kingsbury just above them as well. Now, maybe the playoffs are just a step too far.
Like we say, it's just there's no playoffs, are there? It's just the second place.
Of course. Sorry, yes. Sorry, it was playoffs. I was thinking of Division 1, but yeah, Virginia Water just creeping up the table there in seventh. Good, good for them. Good on them.
Absolutely. I've seen them a couple of times this season, and they think, very well organised, well drilled side with some pace and some skill up top. So, they look really good, and I think they've won both times I've seen them play this season. And some nice players, and they create some really good chances. So, I'm not surprised to see them top half of the table there. And like you say, a few games in hands, they might be able to push up into maybe even the top 5 or so. That would be really impressive from them, especially considering they've had a few seasons sort of mid-table, mid-lower half of the table. So good progression from Virginia Water. Righty-ho. Right. No more to say on the Ascot Reading game. We were going to move on to Woodley Ladies, but if we haven't... Oh, Abby's back. Good. So we're going to say just a quick note about Woodley Ladies. As you mentioned them last week, they were one of the few games that survived the weather at the weekend, and they racked up another win. So they have a game this weekend against third place Penn and Tyler's Green, and win that, and they'll be top of the table come Sunday night. Looking pretty handy at the moment, Abby. Anything more to say of them after we spoke so fondly of them last week?
Not really. Just they're just unstoppable right now, and another clean sheet as well, which is really fantastic. They're just having a really great season. Just found a really good rhythm, it appears. Fair play to them. Just keep it going. Really, it's really great to see. And there just seems to be a real nice buzz with the team right now, sort of on the off and on the field as well. I think it's Molly and Ellen who do their social media, and it just looks really great right now. And they're really utilising Andy from Oak Mist and all of his really fantastic photos. So, I think that makes a real difference as well. Just makes you want to see them do well, really, doesn't it? So, just long may it continue, and fingers crossed for a decent promotion. Sorry, not relegation.
Yeah, promotion, yes. So still a few games to go. There's 8 teams in that division, so 14 league games to play. Woodley have played 9 on 22 points, and Milton United, who are above them, have played 1 game more and on 24. But like we say, Woodley facing Penn and Tyler's Green this weekend, and a victory there will see them leapfrog Milton, as Milton are not playing on Sunday. So, good luck to Woodley on that one.
Tom, you looked poised to say something there.
I was just going to point out the Long Crendon kit against Woodley, which was glorious. All the hallmarks of Denmark in the late 80s. Absolutely magnificent.
Wow, I'd love to have a look at that one. I haven't seen the photos.
Well, as I said, head over to Oak Mist with Andy, who's got, even Woodley's Twitter account as well. So there's photos galore there.
Brilliant. Okay, then. Well, before we shoot off, let's pick out some games to watch this weekend. We'll start on Saturday with the men's games, which are the pick of the Berkshire games. Tom, I'll let you go first on this one because you're always so well prepared.
Loaded the page yet. I'm just loading it now.
Abby, do you have a game that you'd like to
always, Rob, always. I'm always
weekend?
Prepared. I always do my homework.
Exactly, yeah. Go on
then. There's a few you could pick from. Which one am I going to go for? I am going to pick Sandhurst versus Bedfont in Division 1 of the combined counties. It's a bit of a random one, slightly, I feel like, because it's not kind of, I don't think it especially jumps out from the page. But my point is that Sandhurst are having a very good season, as we've discussed last week.
Yeah.
But Bedfont are also only 2 places outside the playoffs, and they've got a few games in hand as well. So essentially, either side is a must-win, I think. Well, not necessarily a must-win. They're not in any danger, and we're not at that point of the season yet. But I just think it will be a good 3 points for Sandhurst to just keep steadying the ship in the position that they're in. But also, I think Bedfont will be interested in bumping themselves up the table. So
yeah, absolutely. That's a nice pick because Sandhurst haven't actually played this year so far. The last game was on the 27th of December. And so they've got a few games in hand over the teams above them. They currently, like you say, sit in third, but they're only 5 points behind Langley, who are top of the table. And Sandhurst have 5 games in hand. So, yeah, they're I'd imagine Sandhurst sights are still very firmly set on automatic promotion and the title. So, getting 2023 off to a winning start is would be a good way about going about that. And yes, bang on, Abby. Great pick. So, Tom, over to you. The page must have loaded by now.
It's definitely loaded. It's fairly quick if you do it in good time. I mean, the obvious one that bounces off the page is Reading City v Windsor at the Livermore. I think I'm going to try and get to that one if I can. At least for a little while, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that one looks like the pick of the bunch. For me, it's worth mentioning that Maidenhead are playing Dagenham this Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Reading, yes, like you say, the chance to get back to winning ways and hosting Windsor, who are having a bit of an up and down season. They're in mid-table at the moment, 20 points from 20 games. So both sides in need of a win for different reasons, really. Interesting game there, and Berkshire Derby, always very good. One game we haven't actually mentioned, and we should call out, of course, is the rearranged FA Vars fixture. Not in Berkshire, but Ascot travelling to Buckland Athletic in the FA Vars. That's happening this weekend. So, Abby, were you going to that one?
I will indeed be live and direct.
Very nice. Very good.
Sunny landscapes of Devon.
Yeah. Devon? I think you're going the wrong way there. Buckland Athletic is...
in Devon.
Is it in Devon? Is it?
Yeah.
All right, I thought it was in... Sorry.
Thank you very much. It's in Newton Abbot.
Okay. All right. Well,
where were you going?
I was going completely the wrong way.
If I'm being honest, Rob, when I first saw it was Buckland Athletic, my head immediately thought they were in Buckinghamshire. So, but I did have to look it up. And
I'm thinking of your previous round. Where were you last round when you went
when we went and played Little Common?
Yeah, that's it. In fact, I think it was probably the round before that when you played in Sussex. Yeah. So yeah, I'm getting my rounds muddled up. I've been out of the country for 5 weeks. Give me a break.
Here we go.
I lost it. I lost the train. Yeah. But Buckland Athletic, that will be one to call out. But absolutely there. So yeah, I'll use that as my pick, even though it's not in Berkshire necessarily. But yeah, good luck to Ascot there. Now let's move on to Sunday and have a look at the games there. Go on, Abby. I know you're prepared, so why don't you pick out one of the fixtures there?
There's lots of cups happening this weekend, so there's lots of random fixtures. But I think I'm going to go for Division 3 South. I don't think it's necessarily a box office game, but we do like a Berkshire, all Berkshire tie, don't we? And it's Burfield versus Taplow. Burfield are, I wouldn't say struggling, because the bottom 4 teams are all on 4 points right now, but they had a fairly comfortable season last season, and then having been promoted, they're sitting just above Fatcham and sort of sandwiched in between actually a few Berkshire sides. So whereas Taplow are doing a little bit better up in 5th. So yeah, not a box office, but I think it's just nice to have an all Berkshire tie, isn't it? So yeah, I would pick Burfield versus Taplow in Division 3 South of the Thames Valley counties.
Very good indeed. And Tom, which game are you picking out from the list there?
I very much liked the look of. I think, to be honest, Maidenhead United v AFC Bournemouth looks like a bit of a tasty tie. Good luck to the Magpies in that one. But you've also got there's a couple of others in there. I think the do you know what, Abby? I may end up at Berkshire Ladies. Who knows?
There we go.
That might be one. That might be one. I could pop down there. But yeah. There's a bunch of games going. Ticehurst, Panthers, Ascot United.
Yeah,
and of course, Reading Women, Manchester United. If you want to see some Lionesses in Reading, they all play for Manchester United, unfortunately.
I think that is going to be a attendance record as well. Actually, I'm pretty sure 4,000 tickets have been sold for that already.
Wow!
We had attendance record. I might potentially go there myself, as there's no Ascot women's first team game on. So why not spend 90 minutes crying in the stands?
Well,
yes, why not? Eh?
One other all Berkshire tie to call out would be in the Thames Valley Counties Women's Division 1, where Walgrave are hosting Slough Town Ladies. So another one for you to choose between there. Lots of options on Saturday and Sunday, and for all the fixtures from all the divisions, get on over to our website, the fixtures and results page, and pick yourself a game to go to and go support Berkshire side.
But just be careful the lower down you get, because I've just noticed that we've got Mortimer playing twice, so I'm just going to fix that.
Well, yeah. So by the time you hear this, Tom will have fixed it and everything will be fine. So good. All right. Any other business before we sign off, lady and gent? No.
Nope.
A couple of blank faces there. So that will do for us today. Thank you very much for listening to the Berkshire Football Stories Chat podcast. You can, of course, find us online on Twitter at FI Berkshire. And on Facebook, search for Football in Berkshire. On Instagram, no idea what the link is on that, but I'm sure you can find us on Football in Berkshire and even on LinkedIn. And you can go old school to the website, www.footballinberkshire.co.uk, and find all our articles and content there as well. So,
Rob, I've just realised I have got one thing to say.
Oh, go on then.
I'm really sorry. Only because otherwise I think Daryl might strangle me next time he sees me. So I think it was last year sometime we teased what was happening with Football in Berkshire women, and we've just not got round to it. But essentially it's not shut down, but we no longer use the Football in Berkshire women Twitter account. Not because we've decided we hate women playing football.
Oh, well.
No, we've essentially decided to streamline, centralise, I don't know, all those good buzzwords. So all of our coverage, regardless of what gender you are, is through the Football in Berkshire Twitter account, Instagram, whatever. So we are obviously still covering women's football, but it's all through the Football in Berkshire account, because football is for all, guys.
Lovely.
Even me.
Well, that sounds like a good place to end. So why don't we?
It's even for middle-aged white men like me.
Yeah,
Tom, you ruined that. That was a really nice ending point.
Yeah,
I'll edit it out of
Thank
the
you.
actual podcast.
Good. So you should. Well, in that case, we'll just sign it off. So it's goodbye from Tom Canning.
See ya.
Goodbye from Abby Ticehurst.
See ya.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.